The real history of the 100 years Xhosa Frontier Wars. For 100 years, from 1779 to 1879, the Eastern Cape was home to one of the longest, bloodiest, and least spoken about struggles on the African continent, the Xhosa Frontier Wars. This is the real history they never taught many of us in school. When Dutch settlers first reached the Eastern Cape, they encountered established Xhosa chiefdoms, powerful, organized, and deeply rooted in the land. The frontier was never a line on a map. It was a clash of worlds, competing claims to land and cattle. Different legal systems, growing settler expansion, shifting alliances between clans. This tension would ignite 9 separate wars. First War, 1779 to 1781. The spark, cattle raids on both sides, sparked conflict. Dutch commandos crossed into Xhosa territory. Xhosa chiefs resisted violently. The colonial government realized something early: the Second and Third Wars, of frontier bleeding. These wars blurred into each other. Settlers pushing east, Xhosa communities pushed west. Neither side wanted full-scale war, but both defended what they saw as their promised land. It became a cycle: land, retaliation, counter-retaliation, war. 4. The Great Wars of the 1800s, 4th to 6th Wars. The 1800s brought legendary figures: Chief Ndlambe, Chief Maqoma, Chief Nkika, King Hinsaka, Kawuta. The British Empire had now replaced the Dutch, and with it came new weapons, new military tactics, and an aggressive push to dominate the frontier. Maqoma, in particular, frustrated British commanders. One even wrote, "Maqoma fights like smoke, impossible to catch." The forests of the Amathol became a fortress for Xhosa resistance. The Seventh War, 1846 to 1847. The War of the Axe. A single incident, a stolen axe, spiraled into a full war. The British used it as a justification to seize more Xhosa land. They declared the creation of British Kaffraria, absorbing Xhosa territory into the Cape Colony. For many Xhosa families, this was the beginning of forced removals and starvation. The Eighth War, 1850 to 1853. Maqoma returns. Maqoma led a fierce guerrilla-style resistance. His strategy: hit fast, vanish into the mountains, drain the empire's resources. The British brought thousands of soldiers, but this war dragged on for years. Eventually, starvation and scorched earth tactics weakened Xhosa fighters. The final shattering blow, the cattle killing and Ninth War, 1856 to 1858. This is the most tragic chapter. A young prophet, Nongqawuse, proclaimed that ancestors would rise if the Xhosa killed their cattle and crops. Desperate after decades of war, many obeyed. The truth about this history is far from its true nature. The result was catastrophic. Tens of thousands starved. The British seized the moment. They annexed more land and used famine to force Xhosa submission. By the end of the Ninth War, Xhosa autonomy had nearly collapsed. 1879, the last resistance. In 1879, scattered uprisings erupted, not a full war, but the last waves of resistance. The frontier was gone. The Xhosa kingdom had been broken, incorporated into the expanding Cape Colony, and later the Union of South Africa.